is the day after a big rain event. We got a weather station, and we probably ought to put it up. Oh, I got a picture.
You got a picture?
Picture.
What do you need? As long as we got pictures. Oh boy.
Just like that, we're set up. It's 68 degrees, but we're inside. So we got to mount this thing still outside.
Until it rains,
Yeah, it tells you how much it rained.
How in the world to do that over there?
I have no idea. Magic. It's 51% humidity in this room. There's our forecast for today.
Well, we got to find somewhere.
There's our 10-day. That's pretty neat. History. We can see how much it's rained. So we had an old plate or a pole to mount it on from this old weather station that, well,
It wasn't humming.
yeah, but it wasn't reading anything. I think that one's gonna work better. So this one's pretty cool that you can check it on your phone. You can get a forecast based on what it's reading and whatnot. If you would like one of these weather stations, there is a link in the description. There's also a 10% discount code. So check that out. Get your weather station. It's a rainy time of the year. So BJ and Brad are in here putting a radiator in a loader. Hey, you got it in.
Put it out there so you can film it next time.
Well, I was bringing you a camera so you can film it.
Well, look at that.
Yep, there it is. Yes, we've been waiting on this radiator for how long? 2 months?
I don't know. My whole life. Just did not need it.
Now you do. Supposed to be here in 3 weeks, took 2 months or something like that. So I was a little wrong. Today we are hooking up the corn planter and the bean planter with the forecast coming. Got a few days before it rains, and it's going to rain for several days, it sounds like. So we got a couple wires to put in this tractor to run part of the planter. Now we got to figure out this mess of wires, connectors, hydraulic lines. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot to the planter. This part always sucks about planting season, is just getting everything hooked up. Make sure you got hooked up right. Here in a minute, once we get this straightened out, I will show you what all these wires do, and maybe you can get a little bit of an understanding of why this is just a pain in the butt job, drives you nuts. Hey, you put the carpet in. Out of date module firmware will be updated. Okay. Must have the agulator part hooked up because it's recognizing the downforce. Select all, click check. So we must have some of it hooked up right, because there's the planting screen. Over here he's got his yetter screen, which that's for our air adjustment on our road cleaners. I think we're ready to hook up our hydraulic lines. Dad has notes, because before we've hooked this up wrong and blew up a vacuum, which is bad, not ideal. So trying to have your remotes marked some way that you'll remember them is pivotal. And every year we mark them and take pictures, and every year we forget to interpret our markings the right way.
Top remote, it's yellow. Which white one goes to the blue, yellow is on red.
So getting all these hydraulics straightened out and knowing what does what is pretty important. Like I said, you can blow up a vac. So Dad is writing down how we have this hooked up, so that way when he's adjusting pressures and flow rates in the monitor, we don't tear something up. This Outback Wraps made that quite a bit simpler. We don't have any affiliation with them. They did send me those like 5 years ago, and this is the first year we've used them. So we're gonna pull this planter out and unfold it. I think we're to that stage finally. It's gonna be so much nicer next year when we can do this in a heated building. The temperature dropped quite a bit. We're at like 40 degrees and windy today. Down from the 88 we had like 5 days ago. So we were about to pull out the planter, and we realized a couple things were a little off. So started hooking up. Had a little bit of updates done on this planter, and we noticed a couple of these, this is your vacuum tube, a couple of them were turned in a way that we were rubbing this up against this piece of plastic really aggressively, and it was going to wear a hole in it, which would make us lose vacuum. Those are adjustable, but to do that, you got to take the meter apart, take out these 4 bolts, and spin that thing to a different bolt hole. Not hard, just going to take a few minutes. Rather spend those minutes now than have vacuum problems when we're trying to wrap up planting. 'Cause 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 up the electric to our unit. That's what drives that plate, which singulates the seed, sends it to this belt, down through this trench that these blades are creating. It's being controlled by the depth of the gauge wheel. These close the trench. These just make it look pretty. But this is our vacuum tube. This is what sucks the seed to that plate in there. And this is our seed delivery hose that sends seed from that tank to this unit. But up here we have a flat tire, or two. Before we knock them off the bead, we got the Thunder Creek over here, and it's got an air compressor in it. We might as well just take care of that problem now. Take full mud. So we've got 20 PSI and we need 45 or 55, so definitely low. That's odd. Bulk fan turned on and sent seed to the units. I don't think it's supposed to do that in transport mode. On again. That's very strange. This is going to be our garden. I guess right now it's going to be our test facility. We could fill them units with sweet corn and really plant this garden, all like 100 feet of it. So we had a slight problem with our yetter system not getting juice, so doing a little testing right now, see if we're gonna pop a fuse again. We had a fuse pop on us. See what happens. Yeah, so far so good. She hasn't popped. Plug that thing in down there, Dad. Plug that in down there. And we're back in business. I don't know why that was popped, but it was popped. Got that fuse figured out. We've been running around in circles trying to figure out why our compressor wouldn't turn on after that. We forgot that it is tied into the lift hydraulic circuit, so we bumped the planer down on accident. It kicked on. So yeah, these first days hooking up and trying to get ready for planting is a lot of us trying to relearn how to use a piece of equipment that we used for months last year. But we haven't used it since probably end of May, so it takes us a little while to get the hang of it again. We're getting it. I think everything's working, which is scary. Sometimes this takes longer. Now, the first day that we actually put seed in the ground with this thing, there'll be a lot of walking, a lot of digging, probably a lot of cussing. Nobody will be happy. That's just usually how the first day of planting with any planter I've ever had goes. But it's a necessary step. Take some time, get everything working right that first day, and then hopefully you're trouble-free the rest of it. Or as trouble-free as possible. Well, that's going to need snapped on there. And that's going to need plugged in there. See if we got any other ones like that. Looks like the rest of them are good, but we'll just give her a walk. We got a couple. Right now, Dad is trying to prime the planter, but these two units aren't doing anything. Everything else spits seed out on the ground, except for these two, so something is not right. One thing pretty cool with the ag leader system, if you got a magnet, you can activate a row unit to test it. Pretty handy in this situation.
Right.
Should be corn in it. Yeah. Well, why ain't this one getting corn then?
Well, the blower ain't on that.
So after some testing, we just had one speed tubes, sure speed tube, whatever you want to call it, that was plugged. And we got one motor that was bad. So one unit was an easy fix. The other unit, we need a new motor. That's a part that we keep on hand. So we do have a spare seed motor, whatever you, the motor that drives the seed meter. There we go. Holy cow. Anyways, we could plant today if we were ready, but we're not going to plant today. But that's why we keep spare parts on hand, so that we're not without when we need. We're going to shut this thing down though. We'll get that motor, probably break for lunch. It is almost 1 o'clock. It's taking us this long to hook up one planter. Wonderful. And next year we'll have a nice warm place to eat over there with a kitchen. So Dad didn't do the wheels that were, or the gate, or the openers that were right beside the carriage wheels, because it's easier when it's unfolded. So that's what we're finishing up now, and this planter will be pretty well ready to go, or at least ready to get seed put in it. Now that the John Deere's ready to go, we need to start focusing on the horse. This is an Avatar air seeder, so it's a little bit different than a planter. Instead of having a meter at every row like we do a corn planter or a bean planter, we have a meter there and we have a meter there. So that part's a little simpler. The downside, typically, always, these are going to be less accurate. I like our Avatar. I like it a lot. It's been pretty simple, and that's been a huge breath of fresh air. But as far as accuracy, that case planter that we traded would be more accurate than this. Now, Horsch makes a actual planter. I think it's called a Maestro. It would be the same thing. It'd be more accurate than this, but these are cheaper and simpler, so that's why we went this route. But as far as what we got to do to this, there's not a lot. Obviously, we have to hook it up. There's 3 lines, I think, to hook up, or 3 hydraulic valves to hook up. And other than that, we need to drain the wheat out. There is still a little bit of wheat in this thing. Not much, but a little bit. And that should be it. I'll plug it in the motor, unfold it, make sure everything's going to fire up, but not a lot to do to that thing, which is wonderful. Now we have quite a bit of rain projected for Thursday. We have cold temperatures also projected, and cold and wet makes us nervous, but I would say we're going to try to plant something before that rain, just so that way if we do have a major issue or major problem, we can get those parts coming before the next good spell of weather. That way we can just hammer everything out. We want to try to get everything done as quickly as possible. We always want to try to get everything done as quickly as possible, but this year especially, since we have a house being built and on the farm we have a shop being built, we have a lot of things to do for those projects. Obviously our corn and bean crop are going to take priority, but the sooner we can get those done, the sooner we can get back to working on those. And yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on this year. On top of that, we also have a dryer to move and a dryer to install. So we are moving the dryer off this farm to the old facility, and we are putting a new dryer on this farm. And when I think of that on top of the other two, it just makes my head spin. So now we're going to get the yellow Challenger. The black Fendt, it is just here until we make sure this thing's not leaking the green Fendt. It is not ours. It will be leaving shortly, as much as I'd hate to see it go. I came over here to get the Challenger. BJ's actually unhooking from the Raptor, the strip till bar. We didn't quite get everything strip tilled, but we got the large majority of all of our acres covered. And well, it's almost May, so he's going to unhook from that. We'll have to spread a couple 100 acres of dry fertilizer in a few small fields. He got all the bigger stuff. The stuff that he did not get is things that some of them we weren't even going to strip till anyway, just because moving, ease, convenience. So anyways, they're unhooking that. I'm going to go ahead and take this one over to where we just came from. All right, we got a little bit of time to kill, so I figured I'd come over here and get my GoPro. Now that the builders are done for the day, check out the progress. So they got the garage completely framed up, got all the trusses set, got a little bit of the sheeting on. So this is the full footprint of the house now, full roof line even. First time I've seen this. This is exciting. There's a lot of firsts around here this week, and last week, and the week before that. But, this is our garage. Now, 41S, it is big enough that my long bed crew cab pickup will fit in here. Probably should have made it bigger, but I mean, we're building a 100 by 135 pole barn like a mile up the driveway, so yeah, this will work. Now, we were going to have a door right there, and me and Mrs. Brown had a slight dispute on that. We made a compromise, and now that door will be over there. But we are going to have a set of stairs right here going up there. That is a bonus room. That's going to be the podcast studio / YouTube studio. So I got a side door over here. In my opinion, that is going to be awesome. I foresee, you know, like a vehicle being here, and then that side door, that's where like the lawnmower, the razor, stuff like that, pull right in that way. Just make the most use of the garage. Yep, I think this is going to be swell. Now, at one time, that was a door too. We decided to board it up. I kind of wish that door was there, but as long as I have a way, so where if I park my truck in the driveway over there, I got a way into the mudroom. That's what I'm looking for. Now, there is going to be a bathroom right here. That is our plan. Like a half bath. It might have a shower. I don't know yet. It's not going to be a big one, but definitely a bathroom. I think that's going to be really nice, I think, because I come in dirty, covered in mud and crap, and I need to use a bathroom. And I hate taking my boots off, and maybe I'm lazy, maybe not, I don't know. Also, at some point, we're hoping to put in a pool a year or 5 or 10 down the road in the backyard, and I think it'll be pretty handy. Kids are covered in pool water, and come into the garage, use the bathroom, and all will be well. Now, I want to climb up this ladder and check out what we got up here. I'm not super scared of heights, but I hate ladders for some reason. Now, if this thing was bolted to the floor, it'd be fine, but it's not. So this over here is just going to be attic space. So there'll be a wall right here, but there will be a way over here. Just be extra storage pretty much. So this is, you know, probably one of the few times I'll get to see this view, because this will all be drywalled. There'll be insulation up here. Like, this is not going to be like a living space in this particular part. Like, this is going to be attic storage. I mean, you still have to get access to it, like if we have a leak or something, or access wires, stuff like that. So there will be attic space like here. And I assume there'll be an attic crawl space on the other side of the main vaulted living room, like over Kayla and I's room. But this will be the easiest and probably most used, just because there'll be a set of stairs going to this bonus room. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked for the bonus room. See if we can't get over there without falling off of this thing. But man, this is a lot taller than I thought it would be. Like, I knew this was going to be coming down. I'm 6'4" and can pretty much use all of this space. I thought it would fall a little bit shorter than that. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. So my plan is to eventually have a podcast studio up here. And if you have kids and you worked in a field where you need to take a lot of Zoom calls during the coronavirus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's just nice to get to a quiet place to take a phone call. So that's what this space is going to be. All the YouTube stuff, all the podcast stuff, that's going to be up here. That's the plan for now. This is a pretty big space though. I mean, I don't know if part of it'll be just a hangout spot. I don't know. The builders who talked me into this, he said, hey, you already got the garage. We can easily put you a bonus room up there. It's going to cost a little bit more, but you already have the structure. Like, you already have, this is just going to be closed up attic space anyways. So, and it's a garage underneath of us. We didn't care about having a vaulted ceiling in the garage. So yeah, I'm really glad that we did this. Now there'll be a window or two out here on this A. Yeah, this will be pretty cool. Pretty cool. Like cousin Ben's pulled in to do some snooping. My cousin Ben, he does some concrete work. He's actually who poured my basement. He's doing some work on the neighbor's property and swung over to check out the house. I don't think he's seen it since it was just a hole in the ground.
Okay, I got a power cord.
So BJ is trying to hook up Dad's BR1 Mini in his planting tractor. That's what brings in our RTK signal. And well, there's a lot of wires back there and tracing them's not fun. So I guess BJ's gonna strip for one more day. We're unhooked, we're gonna attach ourselves to this Avatar. At least that's the plan. What is that here? It's just extra cable display in there. Oh, that's from that that head sight thing. I was wondering what the heck that was. I think that's part of it. Where's my, yeah, I haven't plugged this in yet. Don't mind you. Hey, looky there. Everything just turned on, so that's a relief. I should probably take a picture. I didn't remember how what lever got turned where, and it all fired up, so that's a relief. So we did run seed through the meters, and they also worked, so that's good. That's makes me feel like we might be able to plant here sometime in the next day or so. But we're gonna go ahead and fold up, because it is 6:30. I gotta dump some weed out of this thing. I think we can go ahead and shut this thing off, dump these boxes, and yeah, this thing will be good to go. That went way smoother than I was expecting. Just all in all on the whole day. Found it.
Those hoppers full.
There's that much.
Put it back in there.
So So right now, me and BJ's sitting in the office looking out at the front view here. It's probably about where the coffee pot will be, somewhere in that general area.
I hope so. I'm about empty.
Now that Dad has the tool cap, BJ's come up with the name Municipal Bob. He's on his way in here. He's going to tell us how he's worried about this and worried about that. And
Worried about where we're going to park.
yep, where we're going to
taper this down.
Should have made it a bay bigger. He'll say that. And then he'll complain about the price.
You got to park the truck in the office.
Oh, should have made the office bigger.
I got room in the front still, but not all the way in.
Not all the way.
Should have made 30 foot.
Too late now. I guess we could enclose the porch. A little drafty. So what do you think of it so far?
Well, it's pretty good size in there. Look a lot bigger when we get the sides on it too, probably.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you would, do me a favor and thumbs up this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Leave us a comment, and we'll see you in the next video. You don't want to miss them because, as you can see, things are happening. Things are changing by the day. I mean, you might go on a month vacation and come back, and we're working in this shop. Who knows?